Introducing the new Super Mario Bros. 2 mushroom. A little bit of nostalgia. Whenever you equip this new mushroom, you'll notice that the Super Mario Bros. 2 music will start to play. Having a little bit of trouble getting to a high place? No problem at all. Simply hold down and you'll notice that Mario will start to flash. Quickly jump and you'll do a super jump, allowing Mario to reach high places. Whenever you collect a 1-up, it'll play the same sound effect from SMB2, as well as climbing vines. Bunch of enemies blocking your path? No problem. Pick up the little stub that the You'll notice, whenever you pick up the Chain Chomp, it will be your guard dog, and it cannot hurt you. So whenever the Chain Chomp decides to attack, face it towards your enemies, and it'll simply just get rid of them. It also works for bullet bills, too. Let's get rid of that for now. Next up, introducing riding on bullet bills. As you can see, you can simply just ride on bullet bills and pick them up and save them from whenever you want. You can also super jump while holding items and other enemies. The peaceful sound effect that is normally used will now sound like the Mario SMB2 credits whenever you hit it with the mushroom. You can also pick up big enemies such as this Buzzy Beetle. You can also super jump while holding them, no matter how big they are. You can use it to throw at bricks that are breakable, and you can smash right through them. The bonus music will play as the SMB2 bonus music whenever you have the mushroom equipped. And whenever you go down the flagpole, you will also hear the same sound effect from when you beat a level from SMB2. The Koopalings are back and ready for more. You can find them in all attack out of his wand. In his second phase, he decides to get a little more extreme and starts shooting 2 at a time. Koopalings can easily be defeated with fireballs. In his third and final phase, he decides to shoot 3 at a time. Next up, Iggy. Iggy will run around, not having a care in the world. Just like Larry, he'll start off by shooting just one thing out of his wand. You'll notice that neither Larry or Iggy will go off of platforms, off the ledges. In his next phase, Iggy will begin getting a little faster and shoot 2 attacks from his wand. In his third and final phase, he'll move a little faster and shoot 3 attacks out of his wand, just like Larry. Next up, Wendy. Wendy will start off in her first phase by shooting at least 2 rings out of her wand. They don't last long, but I suggest you still dodge them either way. Even after she is hurt, the rings will still remain, until they eventually just had enough and just explode. In her second phase, Wendy will shoot about 2 more, except they will last a lot longer. This means that sometimes you can have 3 at a time on your screen. In her third phase, she'll also shoot even more rings coming from her wand, making it more difficult for you to navigate throughout your obstacle course. Next up, Lemmy. Lemmy will shoot his rubber balls at you, making it difficult for you to navigate. He's fairly slow, but can make it very difficult for you to reach him. Lemmy will also not go over the edge, just like the others. Over time, his attacks do get faster, and he starts shooting a lot more out of his wand. You can use these to your advantage by bouncing on them and easily reaching him. Although watch out, or else he might knock you into some lava, or into something that's very dangerous. Next up, Roy. Not only does he look cool with those glasses, but he can also navigate just as easily as the others. He will dig underground and pop up anywhere else. He's not very predictable, but soon enough you can learn his attacks. He'll start off by shooting 1 bolt and then pop out of the ground. He can also do a shockwave, stunning you. Make sure to jump right before he lands. Roy gets a little faster each time he's hit. Well, stay on guard, or else he might. Next up, Morton. He will do a ground pound and summon 2 fireballs that will run around. Be careful though, or else you'll be struck by the shockwave that he creates after he ground pounds. Morton does not go off the ledge of cliffs either. Be sure to stay clear of the fireballs, or else you'll have a fiery death. Next up, Ludwig. Probably the most fastest and annoying of them all. He'll start off by shooting 3 attacks out of his wand, and he's able to do a flutter jump just like Yoshi can. You'll notice he can also go off of ledges. Be sure to keep that in mind if you're fighting in a tight place. In his second wave, he'll still shoot 3 attacks from his wand, but he will be just as fast, maybe faster. In his third and final phase, he'll shoot multiple attacks from his wand. Be sure to dodge him. You can make these boss fights much harder if you apply the mushroom to them. For example, to Lemmy. After applying the mushroom to him, his rubber balls will be much bigger and a much bigger obstacle. This can be done to any of the... This can be done to any of them. For example, Wendy. After making her big, she'll shoot ginormous rings out of her wand, making it even more difficult to dodge. Be sure to keep that in mind if you're in a closed space such as this one. Another very effective one is Morton. After applying the mushroom to him, he will be much stronger and shoot much bigger fireballs. And also shoot him at the same time, so you might want to be careful. Another very effective one would be Roy. He looks small first, but when he pops out of the ground, he'll be huge. And his attacks will be much more effective after he shockwave. He does a shockwave. The Mecha Koopas. These Mecha Koopas can come in 3 forms. The green ones are normal. The red ones shoot rockets out of their mouths that home on you, and eventually explode. The explosions can also break blocks around them, so be sure to keep that in mind. Last but not least, the blue one. The blue one shoots lasers out of its mouth. You're really going to want to keep clear of this one. Just like any other, it can be simply defeated by stomping on it. Here's how it looks in the other modes, such as Mario 3. Here's how they look in Super Mario World. Not very intimidating, but very effective. For Super Mario World, you can also use this for a Bowser boss fight, by making him ride in a clown cart and throwing these up in the air, just like how it is in the actual game. Last but not least, Super Mario Bros. U. And yet they are still just as annoying. In my opinion, I think the blue one looks best in Super Mario Bros. U. Next up, introducing the Cursed Key. It's very high risk. Grab it or don't. But once you do, you may want to look out. 'cause trouble will soon be arriving. Next up, the P balloon. With this new item, you can easily float around at ease, unlike the original game where you just floated around normally. You can now control it where you go by pressing go. You could set up some very cool obstacles with this. And with this power up, you're able to fly as much as you want until the end of time. Well, at least until you're hurt, of course. Next up, the one and the only frog suit. Swim at ease with this new power-up. And avoid your enemies. Although be careful, it is very hard to control on land, and it is very annoying. Although when you're holding an item, if you sprint, you can run on water. But this can only be done as you're holding an item. Otherwise, you'll just swim regularly. Next up, Bloomerang. One of my personal favorites. You're just like Ryu Boomerang and kill almost any enemy and can collect coins. Next up, the cannon. Trying to hit an on and off switch that's hard to reach? Easy. Just charge up your attack. Simply just bam. There you have it. Now you can walk across safely. You can also use this to eliminate your enemies as well. Next up, on and off trampoline. Trying to get to a high place, huh? You simply just charge your attack and hit the on and off switch, and there you go. Now you are able to reach high places. Next up, the propeller. It only has 3 uses, so be careful while midair. As you can see on his side, once you use it once, you'll see the dot run out, and once they're all empty, you can't use it anymore unless you touch the ground. You can also fly straight down. Next up, the Goomba mask. No one will know it's actually Mario. You can simply just be on your way and stay out of danger. Next up, the Bullet Bill power-up. Fly in the air at ease with this new power-up. This can be used for some very creative courses. Although, keep in mind though that it only has a certain amount of fuel, and it will refill whenever you touch land again. Next up, the POW block. You can wear this and smash blocks at ease, but you'll notice that each time, after use each time, a letter will go out. It also causes chain reactions, and it can be refilled by getting another one. Next up, World Maker. The thing we've been waiting for the longest time. But here it is, and it's finally back. Create your own custom world with this new mode. You can make a world however you like. The world of your dreams. You can select different paths as well. You can also make certain areas that look good with the terrain. You can also add pipes that lead to the other end. For example, you can also add some decorations around the map if you'd like. For example, you can also attach the end of the pipe there. And if you'd like, you can put a bonus house there. There's 3 types of bonus houses. Once you make a complete way to the castle, you'll notice that the pathway lights up, meaning it is now playable. You will not be able to progress unless you beat the level that's in front of the next level. For example, we can put levels around the map, wherever we like. Now, each time you clear a level, the pathway to the next level will light up. Using the pipes, you can make it to where the player can access certain areas after they beat the level. This type of house is a matching one. Match the 3 correct ones and you'll get a certain amount of lives. A star is equal to 5 lives. This can help the player along the way. Here's what happens if you get the match house and you accidentally get all 3 of them wrong. I don't think Mario would like that. Next up is all you have to do is keep on pumping the balloon with air. Eventually, it'll explode with a certain amount of 1-ups. Depending on how you pump it up with air, it'll have more or less 1-ups contained within it. If you go too slow, you won't get that many 1-ups. You can also make certain types of worlds. And you can also change the theme of your world to your liking. You can change it to sky, underground, normal ground, and many more, such as forest. Spooky if you ask me. There's also desert. And volcano. There's also a snow theme as well. And there's also space for whatever reason. You can also control how many lives the player has. You can make it extremely difficult for them and make them only have one life. You can do whatever you want in the World Maker to your liking. It will take some experimenting at first, but later on, you'll get the hang of things. If you'd like to see other people's worlds, simply just go to Course World and go to the bottom left at Super Worlds. Here you can explore multiple people's worlds and see how people have done. You can also see how many hearts they have in the middle of the screen. You can also see the stats of that world. For example, it can say like there's 4 levels or 4 worlds and whatnot. And that's it. That's covering absolutely everything there is to this new major update.